Today is victory over yourself of yesterday. Tomorrow is your victory over lesser men. There is nothing outside of yourself that can ever enable you to get better, stronger, richer, quicker, or smarter. Everything is within. Everything exists. Seek nothing outside of yourself. Do nothing that is of no use. If you wish to control others, you must first control yourself. You must understand that there is more than one path to the top of the mountain. You can only fight the way you practice. Step by step walk the 1,000-mile road. Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. To win any battle, you must fight as if you are already dead. It may seem difficult at first, but everything is difficult at first. The ultimate aim of martial arts is not having to use them. It is difficult to understand the universe if you only study one planet. All men are the same, except for their belief in their own selves, regardless of what others may think of them. Truth is not what you want it to be. It is what it is, and you must bend to its power or live a lie. If you do not control the enemy will control you. In battle, if you make your opponent flinch, you have already won. Respect the gods without relying on their help. Be neither insufficiently spirited nor overspirited. An elevated spirit is weak and a low spirit is weak. Do not let the enemy see your spirit. Do not waste time idling or thinking after you have set your goals. If you know the way broadly, you will see it in everything. Fixation is the way to death. Fluidity is the way to life. Never stray from the way. The only reason a warrior is alive is to fight, and the only reason a warrior fights is to win. Do not regret what you have done. Accept everything just the way it is. In large-scale strategy, it is beneficial to strike at the corners of the enemy's force. If the corners are overthrown, the spirit of the whole body will be overthrown. Know your enemy, know his sword. True warriors are fierce because their training is fierce. Determine that today you will overcome yourself of the day before. Tomorrow you will win over those of lesser skill, and later you will win over those of greater skill. The path that leads to truth is littered with the bodies of the ignorant. Generally speaking, the way of the warrior is resolute acceptance of death. Perceive that which cannot be seen with the eye. Develop intuitive judgment and understanding for everything. You win battles by knowing the enemy's timing and using a timing which the enemy does not expect. Whatever your determination or willpower, it is foolish to try to change the nature of things. Things work the way they do, because that is the way of things. Unless you really understand others, you can hardly attain your own self-understanding. There is timing in everything. Timing in strategy cannot be mastered without a great deal of practice. In time, all things work to your advantage when you pursue them with an open heart. See to it that you temper yourself with 1,000 days of practice and refine yourself with 10,000 days of training. It is imperative to master the principles of the art of war and learn to be unmoved in mind, even in the heat of the battle. Perception is strong and sight weak. In strategy, it is important to see distant things as if they were close, and to take a distanced view of close things. Water adopts the shape of its receptacle. It is sometimes a trickle, and sometimes a wild sea. Polish your wisdom. Learn public justice, distinguish between good and evil, study the ways of different arts one by one. You may abandon your own body, but you must preserve your honor. In all forms of strategy, it is necessary to maintain the combat stance in everyday life, and to make your everyday stance your combat stance. Get beyond love and grief. Exist for the good of man. Approach the enemy with the attitude of defeating him without delay. You should not have a favorite weapon. To become over-familiar with one weapon is as much a fault as not knowing it sufficiently well. One must make the warrior walk his everyday walk. No man is invincible, and therefore no man can fully understand that which would make him invincible. Immature strategy is the cause of grief. Do not let the body be dragged along by mind, nor the mind be dragged along by the body. If you do not look at things on a large scale, it will be difficult to master strategy. If the enemy stays spirited, it is difficult to crush him. If you want to learn the craft of war, ponder over this book. The teacher is as a needle, the disciple is as thread. You must practice constantly. Fixed formation is bad. Study this well. When you have attained the way of strategy, there will be nothing that you cannot understand, you will see the way in everything. When the enemy starts to collapse, you must pursue him without the chance of letting go. If you fail to take advantage of your enemy's collapse, they may recover. To become the enemy, see yourself as the enemy of the enemy. In the void is virtue, and no evil. Wisdom has existence, principle has existence, the way has existence, spirit is nothingness. Do not let your opponent see your spirit. This is truth. When you sacrifice your life, you must make fullest use of your weaponry. It is false not to do so, and to die with a weapon as yet undrawn. If you learn indoor techniques, you will think narrowly and forget the true way. Thus you will have difficulty in actual encounters. When you cannot be deceived by men, you will have realized the wisdom of strategy. With your spirit open and unconstricted, look at things from a high point of view. All things entail rising and falling timing. You must be able to discern this. If there is a way involving the spirit of not being defeated, to help oneself and gain honor, it is the way of strategy. By knowing things that exist, you can know that which does not exist. When you attack the enemy, your spirit must go to the extent of pulling the stakes out of a wall and using them as spears and halberds. Cutting down the enemy is the way of strategy, and there is no need for many refinements of it. There are many ways of understanding simple things, but generally the opposite is true for difficult ideas. In contests of strategy, it is bad to be led about by the enemy. You must always be able to lead the enemy about. Always return your weapon along the same path it traveled out on. In this way you can use it again without having to relocate and rethink our attitude. When your spirit is not in the least clouded, when the clouds of bewilderment clear away, there is the true void. The warrior is different in that studying. The way of strategy is based on overcoming men. If you are not progressing along the true way, a slight twist in the mind can become a major twist. This must be pondered well. To know 10,000 things, know one well. Perception is strong and sight weak. In strategy it is. The bow is tactically strong at the commencement of battle, especially battles on a moor, as it is possible to shoot quickly among the spearmen. Too much is the same as not enough. When you appreciate the power of nature, knowing the rhythm of any situation, you will be able to hit the enemy naturally and strike naturally. Never depart from the way of martial arts. When your opponent is hurrying recklessly, you must act contrarily and keep calm. You must not be influenced by the opponent. The important thing in strategy is to suppress the enemy's useful actions, but allow his useless actions. If the enemy thinks of the mountains, attack like the sea, and if he thinks of the sea, attack like the mountains. Consider yourself lightly, consider the world deeply. Even if a man has no natural ability, he can be a warrior. Become acquainted with every art. Whatever the way, the master of strategy does not appear fast. I dreamt of worldly success once.